live from beautiful, dry as a bone, Bristol, Tennessee. Your favorite podcast, Braver Than the Rest, sitting in tonight, co-founder,
That's right, co-founder.
BFF.
Oh man,
one of the most intelligent minds that I think I've ever encountered. The Leatherman.
that's what they call me.
Welcome back.
Thank you, and I
Ben.
apologize. It was so long. That was just a longer bathroom break than I expected.
Yes.
So,
well, you know, it happens with age, buddy.
Yeah,
It
it's
happens with age.
bad Mexican. So
We have had quite a season without you,
yes,
and you have had quite a season. You got a new dog.
Oh yeah,
Let's talk about this
Little-
because dogs are important.
little Sammy. Yeah.
Sammy.
Yep.
And what's the mix so the crowd people know?
She is an Australian Labradoodle.
So
What in
she
the heck does
is
that look like?
So she's got 3.
legs.
Yes,
She's
yes.
born with 3 legs.
So it's really she looks like a puppy cocker spaniel right now is what she
She's
looks
really
like.
pretty. Does she have testicles or no?
She does not.
Okay.
You know, we haven't really spoke about you know what she's going to identify later in life,
Yeah. Well,
but we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
you train her up.
Absolutely.
You hear me?
Yes.
You train her up.
That's right.
I'm trying to find a picture of an Australian Labradoodle.
Well, Ben might have one on his
Oh,
phone.
I definitely have one.
Well,
Absolutely.
I guess you could airdrop me one, but is this what it looks like? Where's that? Let me pull his picture up. There we go. Like that? Oh, yeah, you can see that.
So
No?
yes, but she's like just a different like color. Like I'm just going to airdrop it to you. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
No, she's like a black and white mix, or here let me just send it in the group message.
Yeah, just send it in the group chat.
cool.
That'll be cool. Everybody can see the dog.
Yep,
this is a community event here.
that's right.
Speaking of community, how's Rumble? How's my Rumble peeps tonight? You guys on board? Because we got a lot to go over.
Yep.
Obviously, this has been. Oh boy. Okay.
Here we go. So we got
Just wait a second.
we're covering up the article about Biden to show the dog.
We don't care about this week.
Well,
I just want to lay down with her.
Yeah, she's either I'll go or nothing.
Sound asleep.
Oh,
Kind of like you. Kind of like the boys.
yeah. There's no middle ground on there.
You're right. Does she complain a lot and cry and not want to eat things
well-
like the boys, or is she
She actually complains a little bit more than I thought she would.
really?
Yeah.
Well, she. I mean,
I know.
okay. So, hey, though, I didn't say that. I did not say that. But yeah, she is beautiful.
Thank
And we were talking before the intro here about our dogs. Mm-hmm. And Ben took care of our dog while we were away. We have been away collectively 3 weeks now.
Yeah, it's like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
since we did.
So
Yeah.
we vacations and all the things. And in our absence, stuff has happened like, Texas getting railroaded by Hurricane Beryl.
Yep.
Yeah.
What a great name, Beryl. Nothing spells.
It's got to be a bad hurricane if it's named Beryl,
named
right?
Beryl.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I feel kind of bad about that. I didn't watch a whole lot about the hurricane.
Oh, they're still going through it. I mean, you've got electricity out. You've got and I'm sorry, but no AC and like these poor people, they're melting.
Listen,
They're just melting.
Texas. Oh my goodness.
I don't do well in heat anyway. Heat is not my
No,
favorite.
No.
I don't know what I would do without AC.
I
I
Yeah,
just,
no, I couldn't. I can't function without it.
No.
and I've had this thought often in my life. Our ancestors did it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not doable. I'm just saying.
I'm saying it's not doable. I mean,
But sometimes when I'm suffering, when I don't have AC, I'm like, people did this before. Suck it up. You can do this.
right.
I'll tell you, boys, it's going to happen again.
Oh,
That day will come. It's just,
I believe you. The grid's going down.
yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
all the
When that grid
things.
goes down, it's going to get hot.
It's gonna unless it's winter.
Well,
And
sure.
then-
And then
We just burn all our clothes.
yeah.
Because summer's coming and it's gonna be too hot and everybody needs to just be naked. So that's my opinion.
Well, Not quite sure I want to see you naked, buddy.
So, I'd stay home. It's a stay-at-home kind of deal. I'd keep one shirt. You know what I mean?
Let's just
nobody
say
wants to see.
we won't be doing the podcast if
nobody wants to see that.
If I could somehow broadcast,
I mean, it'd be pretty brave for
Yeah.
us to do that.
Yeah,
So
braver than the rest.
Yes,
Actually,
yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
But boy, we've had a lot going on. I mean, 3 weeks. The world, it's a glorified soap opera at this point, right? What we're being fed
geez, yeah.
yes.
is like, you can't make this stuff up. It's just ridiculous. And then of course, Trump. I mean, you just have to say Trump. It's all over everywhere. Netanyahu came out today about something similar happening in Israel. He could see something similar happening in Israel because they're just okay. First of all, I remember 9/11. I was in New York. I was in.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
you
in
were
Long
right there.
Island, yeah.
Yep.
And I remember we had at the time, I couldn't understand his name. He lived underneath us, and he was from Turkey, and so his name was Turkish. That's what I called him.
Okay.
Morning Turkish. Good morning Turkish. His wife. Turkish was so bad and couldn't speak English at all. Not so bad. He was great, but he couldn't speak any English. I mean, like you would think, Paquito. No, not Paquito. Nothing. And it was so bad that I remember he came upstairs and he was soaking wet. And he asked me in his Turkish way to come downstairs with him. And so I went into his apartment and our bathtub had fallen through, and like there was such a bad leak that our bathtub had fallen through. The whole ceiling had caved in. And
Good grief.
he never told anybody because he couldn't. And I remember thinking to myself, like, if you're in an apartment complex and you see a spot on your ceiling, you want to call somebody about that, right? I mean, that's not rocket science. He didn't. And the result was, I mean, he's lucky he didn't.
So did it literally fall through?
No.
Okay.
But it was beginning.
Yeah,
It was beginning to. It had rotted so bad. And he's lucky. He almost got a preview of next summer with me having nothing on, like in the shower, right? Like, but anyway, I remember at that time, when all of that happened, I remember that we had friends that were doctors that were in the hospitals waiting for patients that never came. We had friends that were, in first responders and all that stuff. And I remember going outside and going down to get the trash can, and Turkish had an American flag hanging, as did everybody else. And I think to myself, okay, Netanyahu is sitting here saying, we got to watch for this same type of behavior with a sniper. What happened to that? Like, why in the world would you have to watch for that now with your own people? They're in such upheaval. They're complaining again.
Yeah.
This is what they do.
This is what, I mean, history has shown us. This is what
Repeatedly.
they do. Yes.
They just are never, and it's like, you just had a full-on massacre. And this guy is leading the charge. He is the tip of the spear.
Yep.
And you're going to complain. And then I hearken back. That's a big word for me, hearken.
Harkin. Yeah.
It's a good Scrabble word.
It didn't take long for us to take the American flags down
Oh, yeah.
and go back to normal. We are so incredibly easy.
Yeah. We're very short-sighted.
It's just
So short-sighted.
and then you go, I understand why God says, remember, repeatedly. He said, remember, like, look what I did for you.
Yeah.
Remember. And why the Hebrews built altars in remembrance of things, because even though they had no social media, I mean, unless you consider passing around scrolls,
Well, it was storytelling. I mean, so much of the culture was verbal because the literacy rates were low, and that was their ability to even their ability to remember things. They could sit and regurgitate what would be the equivalent of a book to people, because that's how their culture worked. You couldn't write it down,
Right.
You
I mean,
know,
they memorized books of the Bible.
Yeah.
It's like,
Or by 12.
yeah.
Pentateuch, the
It's
first
like,
5, right? You got to know this inside and out.
Yeah.
But that makes you go, okay, I get it.
but even people like that can forget, which is why he's saying, remember, like it's just adding emphasis to it. And even in our culture now, the emphasis is being added, but nobody cares because we're in a 30-second clip culture.
Right.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
You know, our reels and
Well,
our shorts and all
we've
that
gone
stuff.
through a season where they've, and the pendulum shifts, right? We've gone through a season where they tried to erase our memory.
Mhm.
Let's pull down these statues, pull down, right?
Yeah.
We're just going
We're
to,
still in that, yeah.
in some places, we're still in that. And then there's places that are coming out, and we're in one of them, Tennessee. The month of July is a month of prayer and fasting for the state. It's like, oh, and that's from our legislators, right? They decided that.
Yeah.
Praise God for that, right?
Yeah.
But there's this pendulum shifting where it's like, okay, wait, you're going to go hard to pull down statues and to make us forget where we came from. We're going to go harder to remember exactly where we came from.
Yes.
Ergo, this moment, for me anyway, and I think about this moment with Trump that is so incredibly defining for our culture, for the world, really. Never in my life have I seen one person carry this kind of global weight, the way that he's carrying it. And like him or hate him, it doesn't matter. It's just a fact is a fact.
Right.
He's got more clout, more skin in the game, more respect globally than our current president, and he's not even there,
No,
right?
by a long shot.
And so there's our opening monologue. How's that?
That's a good opening monologue.
That is.
Yeah.
It's good. You can't see that because you know what I mean by the photo. There's several photos from that day, but
Right.
the photo that will go down as one of the most, if not the most iconic photos in U.S. history.
Oh, it's
Yeah. I mean, it will. And what it signifies, because it's like
Yeah.
all the stuff we were talking about pre-show. God's hand
Oh, dude.
undoubtedly was in that
yeah.
situation.
I mean, there's so many, like we were talking, the 3D or whatever.
Yeah, that
the animation.
3D
Yeah.
animation. I can pull that up.
And that was even in slow-mo, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was showing it in slow motion.
It's crazy. I mean, God was, and it makes me think, because I'm going to give too much away with some stuff that we have tonight, but like, it just makes me think that maybe some of our best days, maybe, are ahead of us.
well, I'll tell you, this graphic.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. And we're going to get into this a little bit tonight.
You want me to go ahead and play it? I mean, I'm playing it now.
that's fine. Dude.
I mean, that's just, it's unbelievable.
It really is.
Like there's the shot.
He pulls the trigger there, and I mean, it just.
I mean, I don't know what else you say about that. And I think that is a great point. What you just said, that's it's like when everything is just terrible, it's bad, and here's this catastrophic situation. Everybody's got a cell phone. Everybody can see how just absolutely jacked up this whole situation was, how off all the security was, how open it was, how if you wanted, which we'll get into tonight, talking about who is and is not, or could and could not be culpable for all this. Is it intentional or not? But this one guy, a centimeter, less than a centimeter, and a head turn, and a moment to you hear the crowd.
I
You know what
want
I'm
to
saying?
I want to just pull this out of thin air. One guy, he was a child. He was a kid.
Oh, the guy that was trying to kill him.
Yeah, I mean, and from all reports, his parents are good people. And you sit back and go, man, that could have been, there was a movie that I lent out to somebody, Shannon Miller.
It's probably me because I'm terrible at
No,
getting
it was
stuff
Shannon.
back to you.
It was
Okay.
it was Brad Miller and Shannon. I lent this to them, and it was a movie that was absolutely heart wrenching about a shooter on a college campus, and the whole movie, the father is reeling and the father is so upset, and turns out that the shooter on the college campus was his son, right? And you didn't know that, but and I sit back and go, okay, there's a moment where those parents, nobody's talking about this, but those parents are absolutely devastated.
Sure. Yeah.
And pray for nobody. I've heard nobody say pray for that kid's parents, for his aunts and uncles, for his grandparents. Yes, Black Rock might have had some influence on him. Who knows? There's all kinds of speculation. He was in a video promoting Black Rock, and all kinds of speculation. But it goes back to this. There is an entire generation of easily swayed voters who will take things a little farther than they probably should, because the moral compass, the moral filter isn't really there anymore, because we've taken God out of schools. We've taken God out of everything. I saw a graphic the other day. I'm going to pull it up because it was so good. I should have shared it, but I'm just not prepared for sharing graphics with people.
Well, it's a worldview thing, kind of what you're talking about is Ben and I were talking about this a little while ago. You've got worldview, which used to be something that was fairly common amongst all of us, right, as Americans. And it was a patriotic worldview, but it was one rooted in Judeo-Christian principles. We had a lot of things in common, and that downstream from that worldview is the culture, and then downstream from culture is your politics. And that worldview now we have bifurcated into 2, or in some cases 3 different worldviews, and that's the disunity piece. We have to meet. I feel like for us, our responsibility doing a podcast and talking about this stuff is meeting people where they are the most engaged, which is in politics and in culture, and then having them understand how to interject a worldview that gets us back to the Judeo-Christian principles, the common shared morality, all that kind of stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
Because you can't, it's hard to go to somebody and say, change your entire worldview. Well, maybe you talk to them on the finer points of it could be the transgender movement, or it could be the abortion issue, or it could be whatever. Pick your big, cultural, political topic, and you can make incremental movements that way. Because you're not just going to, our worldview's been changing for 100 years, really. Well, maybe less than that. Since the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, since the feminist movement.
Yes, exactly. Since the feminist movement.
Nobody wants to say that, though.
No, but
that's,
it should be said.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, I had this graphic. I'm trying to find it, and lo and behold, I don't have it. So, but maybe you all saw this, and it's true, and I can probably look it up here. But they were talking about the fact that it's almost like 40% of it's about women raising men.
Oh yeah.
And teachers are 90% women. So there's like this lack of male headship in society, and these things can easily happen when there's no compass. Yeah. When there's nobody, my boys. I flew in here tonight because my boys are playing football, and during practice, I'm listening to their coaches, and they're yelling at them and everything. I love it when other people yell at my kids. Because they don't listen to me. But one of the things the coach said, when you get in the car tonight, you thank your mom and you thank your dad for bringing you here. And it's yes, ma'am. And it's yes, sir. And it's, like this is a man telling, there's probably 150 kids at this thing, a bunch of age groups. And they are all like, okay, yes. They all say yes, sir. And my boys get in the car halfway home. Hey, Dad, thanks for bringing us. I'm like, oh, you're welcome, buddy. You want a sandwich? Yes, sir. Like, okay. Because there's a male telling them, this is what you're going to do. Yeah. And something in young boys responds to that differently. They go, okay, that's what I'm going to do, because this guy's got a beard. He played, he might have played pro ball. I don't know. That's right. But he looks like he's killed somebody. And so I'm going to listen.
He might have 2 confirmed kills.
Yeah. I mean, like, And so, I think that the 50s is when we lost our way. It started. That's when it started.
Yeah.
And here we are today. But I do want to get back to this. Pray for the family of this young man who went awry, because they need Jesus, and maybe they have Jesus. I don't know anything about them because nobody's talking about them. And when they talk about them, it's just in this derogatory light, like his parents are some kind of sickos because he had a gun. That his dad had a gun, but that could be our boys.
Oh yeah.
One wrong step, right?
Yep.
And so, pray for the parents, pray for the family of this kid who lost his way.
Yeah, because I mean, now it's come out that like, and me and Jared were talking. It's like a drip of and this is how it's been for the last 3 years, and really concentrated for the last year. You get this. The initial reports come out about something, and you're like, I just don't think that's true. I just don't.
Oh, it's awful.
And then it goes the way that you are thinking that it's gonna go.
First things out of everybody's mouth was, "Oh, he was a Republican,"
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, number one, okay,
that doesn't.
who cares?
Yeah,
what he,
So we can
Democrat?
justify it, I guess, if he's a Republican.
yeah,
Oh, okay,
he's
cool.
a gun lover. He's he's white.
Yeah,
Who cares?
yeah,
He's sick.
yeah. And his parents are. There's word out now that his parents called the police because he'd been missing for.
Yeah, the day of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
they were
on Saturday.
They were kind of concerned that they were like,
Well, that's bad parenting.
it's kind of still up in the air now, because it's like, did they know something? Did they not know something? But they definitely contacted authorities because
And the question was, he's 20 years old. So why are parents having to check
Yeah.
in on a 20-year-old unless they thought something was actually happening? I thought I had that article pulled up, but I don't. I must be very unprepared today. But yeah, you're right. It was, hey, we called, talked to the cops, and now the reports that the cops knew 3 hours before.
Well, the cops knew he was up there.
yeah,
Yep.
This is a ball drop.
Oh, it is.
In so many ways.
It is.
You have to sit back and, yes, we're known as conspiracy theorists here. We get banned from every platform except Rumble
Yep.
and X, right?
And our only safe space.
And
that's right. Yes.
but you sit back and think about it, like, this had to be an intentional ball drop.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no way that the Pennsylvania State Anti-Sniper Union or whatever was in the building, which wasn't 4 stories.
No.
Like, they weren't on the ground floor. The guy was right above them.
The kid carried a 12 foot, I think, ladder
Yeah. So there's
and a rifle.
I see that often in my line of work.
Down the parkway, just
people
all the time.
if somebody's carrying a ladder and a rifle, generally speaking, somebody's gonna stop them and be like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
Right.
I think the thing is, I don't know that anybody has. I haven't seen anything of them seeing him carry the ladder, but the photo is there.
So somebody could have.
put it.
Yeah,
there,
that's true.
right. So it's there. Like,
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
ladder
It's
is
there. Absolutely.
I mean, no matter how we slice it, it still has an odor that is.
And Kamala and Jill both had events in Pennsylvania, I believe, on the same day. I know Kamala did.
Yeah.
And so some security got diverted to their stuff. And it's like, okay, when were their events set up?
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Was it?
I hear you,
Yeah.
but here we go. Right.
Yeah.
The rabbit
Oh,
trail
yeah.
it becomes really, really deep.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't understand how 500 yards. I get it. That's out there.
Yeah.
But this is a shot that I would take deer hunting.
Oh,
Oh yeah. All day long.
they described this as this is a 4 foot putt, like a easy 4 foot putt in golf terms.
This is a no-brainer.
No, it's
This is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I mean,
And if they're shooting, I mean, depending on what they're shooting, but I mean, these guys are shooting. I don't know if it's 300 Win Mag or 308. I mean, whatever it is.
right.
That's almost like you're tapping it. It's like it's just a straight up tap in. I mean,
Yeah.
you're a couple inches from the hole because they're zeroing those rifles for at those distances. I was looking at the overlay, like the map. Those rifles are probably 0 to 100 yards. So you're talking about minuscule bullet drop. You don't even really have to take your reticle.
I mean, he might have went to Bass Pro and had that zeroed in with a laser, right? And it's still going to be able to hit at that distance. No problem.
Yeah.
There's no wind factor there.
When you see the pictures of how close the building was, it's like, really all you got to do is see the picture and think something's gone on here.
Well, yeah, and the fact that they saw him.
Yeah.
First of all, like
an hour before.
Well, and but the sniper saw him.
Oh yeah,
up there with the rifle.
Oh yeah.
What were they? They're like, we can't shoot because we don't know his intent.
It's like, is that the new guy? Like,
Well, there's that too. Like he had camo on. They might have thought like, well, this must be one of the Pennsylvania guys, or this.
Yeah.
You know,
well, he was wearing a T-shirt.
He was wearing a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was wearing a T-shirt because Matt Carricker from Demolition Ranch. I don't know if you've ever watched his channel.
Oh.
He's got a monstrous YouTube channel, like 11 million, and he's got 3 of them. He's got Demolition Ranch, which is just all gun channel. He's got Off the Ranch, which is his vlog channel. Then he's got Vet Ranch, and they all have millions of followers.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's never said anything about the trans movement.
Right. Yeah, he just
he just steers clear of everything.
He steers clear of all of it. He's been demonetized a lot because of his gun stuff.
Yeah.
But he does not talk politics. He's like, I don't talk politics. But the guy was killed and was shot in one of his T-shirts. And so he had to come out and say, look, obviously we don't vet everybody. It's not going to hurt him. I mean, his following knows.
You can't control who really.
Yeah, he's like, we can't vet everybody that buys a T-shirt from us. That would be impossible. But
gosh, too bad he didn't have a Disney shirt on.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
but it's well, even for the counter sniper team. So it came out today that the Secret Service had a different. So the ones we've seen on the roof, those aren't the ones that actually took the guy out. It was a separate team. I don't know where that team was that actually took it, and I don't know if that's true or not.
Right.
Robbie, you know who Robbie Starbuck is?
Yes.
And he said we're really in a bad spot when we're asking either our government did it or our government is so screwed up that
nobody knows who did it.
Right.
I mean,
or that they would let it fail that bad.
Right. And that's the thing. There's no accountability. I mean, I was listening today to, I don't know, Beck or one of them, like on talk radio, the guys that have made it. Yeah, not us, but, the guys that get away with saying whatever they want.
Yeah.
Right.
And one of them made, Biden didn't even know who the director of the Secret Service was.
He called him a him.
Right.
Called her a him.
Called her a him, which in that administration might be true.
Listen,
I don't know.
Could be.
But, for the fact that there's such dysfunction in this regard. And, I do give credit to the guys that were there and got him down.
Well, that was quick.
It was quick.
So fast.
I mean, the photo op that happened, in my opinion, should have never happened.
Right.
Because they shouldn't have let him up.
No. I mean,
I mean, you don't know. I mean, yes, from what I understand, it was, shooters down or whatever, and then they let him up a little bit. But who knows if there was another shooter? Nobody,
You've got nothing against her, but you've got the woman, like, kind of right in front of him, and she's much, much shorter.
Yeah.
So it's like exposes from here up.
Yeah.
But no, I think
because he's a pretty tall guy. It'd be
he's
me.
like 6'4"?
Yeah.
It'd be like me trying to,
Yeah.
You're good waist down,
Right.
but I can't help you. But yeah, it is just one of those, like, you sit back and scratch your head. Ben, you had an interesting concept, an interesting thought on, could this be like the second gunman on the grassy knoll? Like,
I really, like, as far as like the, so I've seen a couple things. I've seen a couple diagrams and such.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
My microphone's humming. I don't know if anybody
you're
out there
good.
can hear it.
You're
This is driving me nuts.
I can't hear it.
No, I can't.
Oh,
hear
you can't? Okay. It might just be me. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. When I see these things, obviously it makes you think, because you're focused on, like, okay, there was one gunman, and then when you see other stuff, it's like, I think there might have been 2. Reason being is there's a video out that shows the gentleman, the only deceased person as of right now that was there. You see him drop to the ground, and then about the same path, you see a bullet hit railing, and like debris like fly up a little bit, and the guy next to the railing was like, "Oh, geez." So it's like it looks like that's one bullet. I don't necessarily know. You all would probably know much better. Could that bullet go straight? I would assume that can go straight through somebody, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I don't know much about guns.
I mean,
so.
it can deviate, but through a person, not a whole lot.
Okay.
And it could ricochet off a hip bone. It could, you know what
Okay.
I'm saying?
Okay. So you got that one, and then so that they are saying that that bullet was from the kid, and that there's another one that came from the water tower that nobody's flipping talking about. There's 3 videos of eyewitnesses that says there were 2 gunmen. You got to find it on X.
Yeah.
And I may have shared it or whatever, but that was the one that was supposed to take him out. That the kid was supposed to be the fall guy, basically.
The Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like you sent that one to us, didn't you?
I may have.
What unions, other than most of them, don't like Trump? Because this plays into, like, if you go back into the Kennedy thing, right?
Actually, the actual unions.
Yeah, because that was all mob
Yeah.
related.
Yeah.
So is this a mob hit on him because he made them angry, or better would be a cartel hit
Oh yeah.
because we know that he's making them angry. And if he gets in office, they're terrorists.
Oh, I mean, everything's going to change if he gets in office. That there's some, I don't know, man. It's pretty compelling. Whew.
I'm not going to rule it out. I mean,
No.
because you can't rule anything out.
No.
We just had the president of the United States, former president of the United States, somebody tried to assassinate, and nobody knows where the problem was there.
And it's amazing.
So it's like
Go ahead.
anything's possible.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, this kid had bomb-making material in his vehicle. So they've already said he had bombs. He had a detonator. He had a rifle. He had, again, a kid, a 20-year-old, no experience making bombs, no experience connecting transmitters to bombs without blowing himself up.
Yeah.
No, the FBI says that they have done searches of his computer, but there's nothing to report. Is that true? Is that not? That there's no search history, that he was actually looking for these things, because they'd be on the Anarchist Cookbook or one of these other, platforms trying to figure out.
Wait, Anarchist Cookbook. I'm gonna look that.
Yeah, no, not on my not on my Wi-Fi network. You're not. You better not.
How to
That'll be out
become
of the
a
helicopters and goodness gracious, I'm gonna lock you out. So anyway, all this guy that had and no prior behavioral indicators of these things.
Well, and that's what
why
makes makes it very interesting and frustrating, because you look at this and go, okay, wait a minute. If what they're saying is true about this kid, that could be my kid.
Oh yeah.
Nobody would ever see it coming. Nobody. I mean, the kid, his classmates say he was bullied. He sat alone at lunch. Well, I mean, okay, that's not a reason to go off half cocked, right? And he's 20 now. His work history was flawless.
Yeah. You see, like he worked as a nutrition person at a nursing
at a nursing home, and they said they could count on him.
Yeah.
That he showed up. He was responsible. He was a hardworking kid. And, here's the other thing. In this economy, his dollar definitely doesn't go as far as it used to. And so,
And I've read one post about this. They believe with the whole van thing is odd too, because they said he drove his Hyundai there. There's multiple reports that he drove his car there. So what the heck's up with the van? Anyway, they're saying that the van was going to be used as a distraction, that he was going to blow the van up. And so people's attention would be on that. And then I guess Trump would be. It'd be like, I don't know.
The van clearly the van failed.
Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Because he
Or-
didn't go on the anarchist cookbook, and he just did it by
Yeah.
he's freelancing.
Yeah. Dude, there's so many variables to this.
Well, and part of the problem with this is social media.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? There's
I mean,
so many
everybody's-
variables. Everybody's an expert.
Oh, yeah.
We have no idea what happened.
Yeah.
We have no idea. However, what we do know, and it's 9:40,
Good
is
gracious.
Gosh, that's crazy.
but we have 3 people, so it goes so fast. There you go.
This, sorry, I had to I had to throw this in here.
That's great.
Yep.
Again, this was off of X that they said that the sloped roof was a danger, and so there you go. The Secret Service
So they should hire him.
should have
Yeah.
hired this guy.
Yep.
And it's all about safety, right? Threat neutral. Sorry.
Yeah. Get off that sloped roof before somebody gets hurt.
Oh, that's
This is,
great.
and when she said that, she said, "Oh, it's a slope roof, so we didn't have a sniper up on that roof." Everybody is like, "Come on."
I mean, just
This is-
say something. Say something that is believable, like remotely believable.
Yeah.
Well, it's
God.
I was listening to Tim Kennedy, and he was talking about and it's very true. We were talking about it pre-show, how prepared the counter sniper team would normally be in a situation like that. And it's just like we used to do as when we were observers, like forward observers. You're making a terrain sketch. You've got or a sector sketch, and known distances out there for these guys are. I mean, there's certain procedures that they go through to make sure that they can make a quick shot on the fly to analyze a threat or to neutralize a threat. And that building is, I mean, that's elementary school level security. Anybody who's set up even any basic perimeter knows
the only
that.
thing that I would suggest or say about that is he made it so obvious that nobody took it seriously. Maybe if that makes
They were
sense.
almost just shocked that was.
There's no way. There's no way that's somebody that's going to be nefarious. There's no way. I mean, that's just so obvious. Who would have the brass to carry a rifle in? Who would do this right in front of us?
Yeah.
That's not true.
Yeah.
This is some kind of joke. And that's the only thing that I can think of.
That would be the only thing. But my goodness, you're trained. I mean, you just have a different mindset. I think.
I mean, he walked they were in the building.
Oh yeah.
He walked by police. He walked by people.
Yeah. Well, like what I threw up earlier, they'd flagged him
Oh yeah.
10 minutes before Trump even went on stage.
Yes.
They knew.
So they knew, and they obviously the role there or the thing to do there is, let's just not let Trump on stage.
Yeah.
Let's just not do that.
Postpone it until you can.
Yeah,
Until you can find the guy.
Yes.
And here's you're 100% right. This
This is a breakdown. It was just a breakdown, complete and utter failure on their part.
yeah.
And there's no two ways.
Was
about
it a? Hate to be this guy, but we've all thought it. Was it a breakdown, or?
I think it's. I mean, this is my head automatically goes there. It is so. There's so many factors and so many failures. So many factors to the failure.
Mhm.
I don't know how you get to that level of incompetence.
I think guys.
don't.
I mean, honestly, I think it's intentional. I think that some people, some of the security that was there, knew it was intentional. Obviously, the people that jumped on Trump, I don't think they would have a clue that it was. I think that there were parts set up that were intentional to fail. I just do.
We got actually a comment here from somebody on Rumble who was press. He said, "Who would want Trump dead? War Machine's going to get less money. The FBI, CIA, anyone that thinks Trump might get rid of their job or agency."
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So there's a lot. It's a good point.
They're to the
Making
point-
a lot of
it's to the point
enemies out
now
there.
where they, the court, the big documents case got thrown out. So really, they haven't. Yeah, he was found guilty. But okay, they haven't beat him in court really. All this other stuff that they've tried to do to him hasn't worked. So okay, let's just try to kill him.
Yeah.
And make no mistake, obviously that guy was not supposed to miss. I mean, it wasn't a warning shot. That was
It was so well placed.
yeah.
Tristan Seagraves, he made a good point. He said Dan Bongino was in the Secret Service under Obama.
Yes.
He had an inside perspective, and that's very true. He was making a point that not a drone, that was no drones in the air, none of that stuff. Yeah. So I mean, and it's when you have that many security breakdowns, and like you're saying, they've tried to ruin him financially, personally, politically. They've tried to can his reputation, take all of his wealth, and he's still there.
What's there left to do?
What's left to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is left?
And I will say his running mate, okay, from what I've seen and understand and read about him, will be just as aggressive.
I think he's going to just absolutely slash Kamala at the.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, that's going to be
That's
fun.
going to be fun to
That's
watch.
gonna be
She's gonna giggle the whole time.
Oh, my gosh.
But in policy,
Yeah.
and if it is a pretty safe pick because he is not super middle of the road.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, so now if he gets elected and makes it to the election and this happens, they get 2.0, but it's somebody that doesn't fully agree with Trump on everything. And I like that.
Yeah.
I like that he's got a dissenting voice in his cabinet right next to him. It's going to be like, hey, you ever think about this before you tweet?
Right.
Yeah.
Or whatever, Yeah. But he's gonna toe the line, and he's gonna be hard on the swamp. He's gonna be hard on the deep state, right? That we all know exists to a point where nobody believes anything that's coming out anymore.
Mitt Romney, dude, I thought this was great. Mitt Romney, there was a post on X that said Mitt Romney has come out and said that there is nobody, not a worse pick than J.D. Vance, and that is how you know that is the right pick.
That is such a good. Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
if Mitt, I'm like, yes, okay, that's good,
Yeah,
because I don't want what Mitt Romney wants. I'll just tell you that right
because
now.
so many of us are so fed up with what's gone on for the past
Yes.
decade or two, right?
Yeah.
That we're just done with it. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Tucker said it. He said, here's one thing I can tell you, and I'm paraphrasing here. I might jack it up, so my apologies for that. But there's nobody I have seen attacked harder by everybody that I hate in Washington, D.C.
Yes,
than
yes.
J.D. Vance. He's been attacked by everybody
Yeah.
that I hate in
Yes.
Washington, D.C., and that's not a bad thing.
No,
it's
it's
really
not a bad thing.
Nope.
No.
And so if they can't put him in prison, if nothing sticks, if he's literally he's Teflon Don, right?
And they don't care they don't care if they make it out in the open now. Like there's no necessarily they don't care if they hide it or not. As long as he's dead,
Yeah, but then they're
it's
good
gone for them.
until now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because if he gets elected,
Yep.
and this happens,
Yep.
and Vance is his second,
Yep.
it continues for him.
Right.
And I would say that he would even ramp it up to a point where, if you go after the sitting president, and they'll do the investigation, and we'll know tomorrow what happened because they'll actually do the investigation and not slow walk stuff. And it comes out, and the American people are fed up. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: it's a conservative evangelical base that Trump has, and people call us stupid. People call all the different things, but they tried to kill him. Somebody tried to kill him, and not one car is burning in Pittsburgh.
Exactly.
Exactly.
There isn't a dumpster fire in Minneapolis.
No.
It's true. But and if it did anything, it what's the word I'm looking for? I'm having
Hardened our resolve.
hardened our resolve. There you go. That'll work
good?
just fine. That'll work just fine.
Okay, I'm with you.
But and we saw it, and I think that was the presence of mind that Trump had after that had happened.
Yeah.
For him to expose himself, he probably doesn't know how he had exposed himself because there was a guy that took all the audio and he altered it so you could hear it, and they said shooter was down. So maybe he heard that, and so he felt comfortable going up.
Yeah.
But that fight, and the people responding loudly and
man. Yeah.
very proudly, that diffused that situation in the moment.
And the people don't know that the shooter's down.
No.
No, they don't.
people-
And
But
that's
they're
what's amazing to me.
Yeah.
Like the response of the people.
Yeah,
You're
man.
like, except for the guy, there was one guy, and they showed it repeatedly on the newscast. The FU guy. So he was
yeah.
wearing a hat. Did
Oh,
you see
yes,
this?
I did.
Where they're putting him in. They're putting
was
him in.
flipping the
yeah,
bird.
he's flipping the bird at the camera where they're trying to, and they just kept showing it on a loop. I want to get that guy on our show
Yeah, I would love to.
because
He was like, look, he doesn't even know where the shooter was, and he's just like,
yeah, he's turned around, 2 fingers up, going at it like, and
great.
what a horrible, you sit back and go, okay, the majority of Trump people are not that guy.
Yeah,
But there are those guys,
Oh, yeah.
right? I want to talk about millennia. and her statement, like,
Oh, Melania?
yeah, what I said,
You
millennia.
you said millennia.
Well, she's millennial is what, Melania.
Melania. Yep.
You talk about class.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
You talk about a first lady.
Yeah.
Unbelievable statement that she made,
Yeah.
where you sit back and go, wow. And if everybody in America read that, which they won't, because the people that hate Trump hate her.
That's exactly right.
But if they read that, maybe it'd give them a minute to go like, wait a minute, we are all human. He is a father and a husband.
Yeah.
And you can hate him all you want, but she loves him. She found something good in him.
Well, and look how things are right now. It's very interesting how this has transpired over the past few months. Just a few months ago, the Republican Party, was not the glue that it is right now. We were not together
At all.
and the Democrats were.
Yeah.
It has completely flipped.
Oh,
The
they are.
Democrat Party is in shambles right now, and the Republican. Watch the convention.
Yeah.
The convention has been unreal, and I don't know what Trump's relationship is with Jesus.
So I was talking to Jesus about this,
Okay.
and he didn't answer me either because I don't know either. But I will tell you this. 2 people that have interviewed him came out and said that he definitely recognizes that that God was in play.
Oh, he absolutely knows that.
And-
Yeah.
Did you see his truth right after it happened?
Yeah.
It's in the language.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
he had a serious come to Jesus moment.
But I mean, I want him to not. I don't want it to be in the language. I want it to be the language where it's like Jesus saved my life.
Right.
Boom,
Yeah.
boom.
Exactly.
Now
And
I do want.
Go ahead. He did. There was he was had a speaking engagement or something today. I'm assuming in Milwaukee, but there was he did say, he said God was, in effect, he said God was there with me today. I do like, and maybe this is too nitpicky, I do like it when people say Jesus Christ was there, or Jesus, because you can throw God around a lot and people don't really know what God you're referring to.
Right.
But that's just something I don't know if I'm being too nitpicky or whatever. But I was sitting there with Katie watching it when he came. Was it Monday? I guess the first day when he came out later that night.
Mhm.
And so many people have said this. The perfect word, I've heard somebody say it, the perfect word for what his demeanor is now is humble.
Yeah.
He looked so different that night. And I know, obviously, you come close to losing your life, but there's something different, man. I mean,
I think, that I think there's a resolve in him now because of this. I mean, the fight. I think it's like it's settled in almost. People are willing to kill me because of this.
Mhm.
And I need to fight harder. I need to, and it's also humbling.
Yeah.
But I did want, I hope you got the clip.
Yes, I've got it.
So I want to talk about this because I've heard lots of messages, and I listen to a lot of different
Oh, dude,
pastors,
yeah.
and there are pastors that are, one talked about the blood of the prophets and the dipping in the toe in and dipping the thumb in and then the ear, and it's like, Trump got shot in the ear and it's bloody, and it's okay, we can pick things out of Scripture and make it about Trump easily. You can do that. Christians do that about every president ever,
Everyone. Yeah.
right? This is a little different.
This blew my mind.
So
upon the nation, and it was being birthed, and it just kept spreading like fire all throughout America, and I saw Trump rising up, and then I saw an attempt on his life. This bullet flew by his ear, and it came so close to his head that it busted his eardrum. And I saw he fell to his knees during this time frame, and he started worshiping the Lord. He got radically born again during this time frame. I'm talking, people say he's saved now, but he becomes really on fire for Jesus, for what I saw coming.
And this was 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Back in March, more than 3 months ago.
And then I saw people interceding when I saw him winning the presidency through great. The Lord showed me it would go clear into the summer. Great persecution would come on him through the judges and through the law and all these people trying to sue him and all this stuff. But there would be a stop to it, and there things would start to break free come toward the fall. And then I saw him winning the election through the Patriots coming out and voting.
And I don't know anything about this guy, but
don't
my wife told me that she's been following him for a long time.
Oh,
And that this isn't the first time he's had something similar to this happen. He's a janitor.
so dude, he's got the gift.
He's not a
He's not a he
not- he's
doesn't
not
hail
making-
himself as a prophet,
Nope.
right?
nope.
Right.
He just says this
This is what God showed me.
is what he showed me. This is what was on my heart.
Yeah.
She's like, it's pretty fascinating.
And so here we are in March. He makes this prophetic declaration. Now, I want to be really clear about this. It doesn't mean that he had it in March. It means he made the declaration in March.
Yeah.
So I didn't call him to find out when he had it, but it's not like
Right.
I'm sure he had to sweep the floor or something, so he didn't just get right on and have an interview.
Yeah.
But
Again, I'm making that statement that's what he is based on what my wife told me. So I'm
What-
going to assume she's accurate.
what he said, however, about the Lord silencing this stuff happen. Look at what is happening.
Exactly.
Where that's dismissed.
Yep.
No,
Yep.
that's dismissed. Did you guys see that the judge in New York now they're coming after him for some
I
things?
did not see that.
Yeah.
And so you said
Ingoran.
Ingeron.
Yeah.
Is that the one? I forget. There's so many judges.
Crazy looking dude.
yeah, it's a bit.
At
It's
the
a
end
bit
of the day, it
much.
doesn't really matter.
They're all the same.
They're all crooked.
But yeah, apparently, he had some coaching or whatever ahead of time, and it's like that's it's the writing's on the wall. And here's the thing: the word tells us that kind of stuff's going to be shouted from the mountaintop.
Mm-hmm.
And here we go.
Yeah.
Like one by one, these things are getting let out of the bag, and are forced out of the bag, and then you have the problem is you've got the truth coming out and the media who's suppressing it. And then there's platforms like ours where it's like, no, we're going to tell the truth, even though it gets us kicked off of a lot of platforms for telling the truth.
Yeah.
But this is what's happening. God is there. There's this reckoning where God is doing things. Now, do I think that Trump is a prophet?
No.
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 But here's a great question. Can God use people prophetically that are not believers?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Would you call that person a prophet?
No. No, they're just a tool.
Most prophets are, right? They have
Right,
the
but
gift
they-
of prophecy.
Right.
So,
But
it's
no, I
just
wouldn't
kind of
call
a
him-
rhetorical question.
Yeah.
Because you look at
He can. I mean, he uses anybody and everybody that he wants to lay out his or to complete his plan.
who's the guy? Why can't I think of his name?
I don't know.
The guy who predicts who has predicted stuff on his show repeatedly. 9/11, he talked about it. He's got a huge show.
Oh, good grief! You talking about the con guy? Not. Oh, I have no idea. I can't remember.
We're talking about Dr. Phil.
No,
Okay.
that would be a good one. He's huge.
I have no idea.
I don't.
You
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Oh,
Good
okay.
grief.
I didn't know we were
okay.
talking about Alex
Thank-
Jones.
thank
I
you,
thought we were
fellas.
talking about prophetic people, and then next
Okay,
thing you
is he-
know,
okay.
you're like,
But here,
talking about the
okay,
Bible, and then
Dude, I'm telling you.
Alex Jones.
Yeah.
The Simpsons. We talked about them tonight.
Oh.
Like Matt Groening, right? Are what are they, prophetic? How do they have these pictures and these do these things where it's like that just happened? That just happened, right?
Exactly the way it showed up on the
So,
show.
I mean, how does that work? Or is it really a matrix? I mean, I just don't even know anymore.
yeah, well, I mean, it's historical.
Yeah.
God has used very imperfect people.
Yes.
Put them at the right places at the right time, or not at the right places at the right time, in the places that he wanted to be when he wanted them to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In order to direct the course of world events, of a nation's events, of a state's events, whatever it happens to be, right?
Right.
And Donald Trump is just another one of those guys. And we were like before the show, it's like that gives you a bit of hope that God There's no other way to explain it.
No, there's no.
His slight head turn. Maybe he get a slight little breeze.
Yeah.
To push that thing aside.
A breeze wouldn't
Nick
have pushed it
Nick
at
is
that
here.
distance. I mean,
God, though. It nicked his ear, humbled the man,
yeah.
showed all of us that there is hope for the, you know what I mean? It was a moment of.
Because they weren't successful.
Correct.
That's the big thing.
It's exactly
Because
right.
it wasn't his time.
Exactly. Yes.
Because
God doesn't let anyone die
orders
that he's not ready to
Right.
die.
That's
exactly.
right.
Yeah.
So you know whose time it was? The sniper's time, right?
Oh, absolutely.
But I mean, so you think about this in the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Kim Clement, another prophet, who foretold, hey, it had to be approaching 8-10 years ago now.
Yeah, that's been circling back around.
Trump was going to be the trumpet. Trump was
Yep.
going to be the trumpet. And you sit back and go, that's insane because he's hosting The Apprentice.
Right. Yeah.
You know, he's a mess.
Funny.
People made
I mean, we were all watching The Princess. Like, God, that dude's a jerk, man.
right. But so this guy's making these statements and he's right. And then comes this other guy now, Brandon, who literally walks us through exactly what was going to happen.
When I first started listening to that, when I first saw that video on X, and he mentioned the ear thing, I was like, okay, wait a minute, it
Right.
gives you chills.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, holy cow.
And then there's another iconic photo is Trump on his knees.
Oh, that shot, dude, and the sunlight's coming.
Yeah,
oh,
I mean,
buddy.
and the flag, the flag got twisted into an angel.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
we can convolute this all we want, but the bottom line is, he did have a moment with God.
Absolutely.
Somebody tried to take his life.
And it was captured by people to live in memoriam.
Oh yeah.
And when you talk about getting a country, which I always, on my podcast, I'm always going back to, we have to get back to the similar worldview, Judeo-Christian principles, all of those things. This sequence of events, the images that were captured, that speaks to people's hearts.
Oh man.
And
Yeah.
it's not that that's going to be the end all be all, but there will be other incidents, other events, and people just need to pay attention to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and right now there's an extremely galvanized resolve
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
in the Republican Party and in the conservative movement and the get out the vote. I mean, there are people that cannot stand him that are going to get out and vote for him because they recognize they're trying to take him out. Like,
I mean, how many people when he got shot and when he got up and he was okay, basically he was okay. Okay, mentally probably not, but
Yeah.
how many people on the left were like, "Oh, he's won it now." I mean, immediately you're like, "Oh, he's won." We have no shot now.
well, and it just
Hank Uyghur came out, Uyghur from the Young Turks.
Yeah, man.
He came out and he tweeted that, I'm not a fan of Trump,
Yeah.
and I've called him a coward on all these, but he said that was pretty brave, and him pumping his fist and saying fight, 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 that was pretty bad, eh?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
And then, you counter that with like Adam Schiff coming out against Biden today saying he needs to, so it's like,
Dude, if you've lost Nancy and Adam Schiff,
yeah, you're done. You are done.
can you even call yourself a Democrat anymore?
It's over.
Yeah.
And he gets COVID
Yeah.
on top of it all. So it's like, okay, I mean,
What a time. I love this. What a time to be alive.
yeah. That's why I said at the beginning of the show, the soap opera that has been, right? That's you can't make this stuff
I
up.
think Trump's speech tomorrow, because he scrapped his old one that was going to be, he said he had a humdinger ready for Thursday.
Yeah.
But when this happened, he scrapped it, threw it away, and it's going to be about unity. And I just have in my mind this is possibly one of the best speeches that we will ever hear from a previous president.
How about just from him? Because
just from
because
him.
he's not super articulate. Like really, he's
Of course, he probably had somebody.
write it for
Write it
him,
for
and then it's gonna be great. It's gonna like.
I think it's going to be
best.
something.
Did you hear the benediction by that pastor?
Yes.
Yeah, that's so
He
good.
did an imitation of
He
Trump.
did
It
an
was pretty
imitation.
good.
You're gonna be blessed. He
great.
did so good.
It was great.
It was spot on.
Is this at the convention?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
no,
so
I didn't
good.
see it.
Okay, well, we are at 10:01. and we could just keep on going.
Golly.
But I want to close out tonight with just a statement, and that is, first of all, I wanted to get back to. I saw something different in the debate. We haven't even talked about this.
Gosh, that's true. That's true.
I really felt when he said, "Joe, I really hoped that you were going to be a great president. I really hoped that you would have done your job well." And, it was almost like this moment of civility that we have never seen out of him.
No.
And I sensed a change in him at that point.
Oh, yeah.
And then you couple it with what's been going on now. And, I just sit back and go, if he comes out with a message of unity, which he has never done.
Nope.
Because he hates the deep state so much. And then you go, how much does he know?
Yeah.
That we're not even, our tinfoil hats keep us from, hearing it all, I guess. But where if he's still going after so many people and they're going after him, I mean, it's, the fact that they dropped the charges because, because he wasn't qualified to, or wasn't voted.
Jack Smith wasn't
qualified to do it, right? The fact that they dropped those charges that they should be bringing against the sitting president too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they don't because he's old
And
can't,
incompetent.
like you sit back and go, that is the biggest, to me, like that's the biggest red flag that there could ever, they're waving it. Like, yeah, we're going after him all the way down to where we're at today. But I want to take this with us. Pray for your president. I think pray for Joe Biden now.
Oh, yeah.
More than we ever have as believers. For the simple fact that he, or his handlers or whoever, Jill, they want him to stay in it. And there are people that don't want him to stay in it. And today we find out he's sick. So I'm just going to say this in conspiracy language. This might take him out.
Yeah. I get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because the same people that try to manipulate the system and do all the things to get rid of people are the same people. I mean, they're the same. They don't change their stripes. The demons don't change their stripes. And so if he's not going to step down, they might try to remove him. And so pray for the Biden family always, because we're supposed to pray for our leaders.
That's right.
Yeah.
But especially tonight, and obviously pray for Trump.
Yeah.
Pray for the Republican convention. And pray for America.
Yep.
It was a beautiful moment. We were on our family vacation on our trip up in the mountains, and we were getting ready to eat dinner. Everybody was kind of getting ready to get together, and I picked up my phone and I saw it on X, and it was an interesting moment. But I knew that there were lots of other families out there doing the exact same thing. When we started to pray, we were praying because we didn't know. You didn't know what had happened.
Yeah.
And you don't just pray for Donald Trump because Donald Trump you want him to be okay, obviously. But you pray for your country in a time like that. And it was just really cool to see people, these are just working people, your average run-of-the-mill folks, and how many millions of just working class folks were out there joined in unison in prayer in one shape, form, or fashion for Donald Trump and for the country.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Kind of like what the prophet had said. Kind of like what the word of God says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves. Oh, wait a minute. Right? Turn from their wicked ways. Seek my face. Like all these things you see happening in our little corner of the world, especially, right? The most churched corner of the world ever is where we're at. So yeah, you see it, but I think we're seeing it on more of a national level, if not global, where believers are going, wait a minute, if this nation falls, it's over.
Yep.
They all fall. So yeah, and we'll get into next week what we're not hearing about on the news at all, because that's what I love about what we do is we try to find the stuff that matters that you're not hearing about, because
that you will eventually hear about, but
Yeah, right.
not now.
Everybody's they're puppeting the same thing,
Yes.
and it's all about the same thing right now. We just spent an hour talking about the same thing everybody else is talking about from maybe a different perspective. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, man, prayer is it, gang. It's it.
One more thing that points to Jesus that I want to say real quick, and I know y'all know this because you've seen it, but he was shot at 6:11. Ephesians 6:11.
Oh, yeah.
No weapon formed against you shall stand.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, if God was all over that, man. So,
Yep. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah, the armor of God. That's that whole.
yeah.
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 Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny. I had a guy when I was a kid. We had a guy come in and he was speaking at a kids camp that we were at, youth camp that we were at, and he wanted to talk about to quench the fiery darts of the enemy, but he got the D and the F switched up, and so he said in front of 500 students, to quench the diary farts of the enemy.
It's a bad day.
And hundreds came to Jesus at the end of it. Truthfully.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
Great.
anyway, all right. As always, braver than the rest. If you have questions, comments, you'd like us to discuss something, please give us a email at thebraverthantheRest@gmail.com. Also, we love your comments on every platform that we're available on, YouTube, Facebook, Rumble especially. Go ahead and tell us what you thought about the episode, and we will actually respond. We do that.
Absolutely.
Or talk about you on air.
Either one.
We do that too. Sometimes good and sometimes bad. It's depends on if we agree with you or not. So we love you. Like and share us. We were talking and texting today about just the insane amount of algorithm problems that we have getting the message out. They just, and it's getting worse.
Oh,
And it's
gosh,
not getting better. I mean, I had YouTube contact me this week about an episode that we did months ago.
Are you serious?
Yeah, months ago.
Wow.
And they said, that violates our medical, whatever. And when experts are coming out now and saying that this is actually what we've said all along is actually what's happened,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
and they're still saying that that's not the truth, there's a bit of a problem here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and at one point you could talk about it, and then they said, nope, now you can't. And they will retroactively strike your videos,
Yes.
even though they were done in the window of time where it was okay to talk about
Yep.
it.
yeah. And why can't you talk about it now? Oh, that's right, because they're ramping up for the bird flu. We'll talk about that later.
No,
I
it's not-
can't.
It's not. I'm going to say it's not the bird flu. The first case of the plague has been found. Has been found in Colorado.
Yeah, But you know what? There's like 8 a year of that.
Yes.
But for some reason, this is a big deal.
We can rabbit hole that.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
We're done. As always, braver than the rest. We love you. Keep your eyes to the skies because our king is returning. We'll see you next week.